So as spring begins to spread over the horizon, following in suit is all the spring plants and spring flowers. Today I'm going to talk about 4 different spring plants that are edible, really nutritious, and they just might be growing in your backyard. Now chickweed is a nice spring tender. You can find these growing in somewhat shady areas, low-lying areas where it's really moist or holds a lot of water naturally. It grows as a creeper across the ground, and once you spot it for the first time, it's extremely easy to see. And so the easiest way to identify it is, obviously it's a spring tender. It's really dense green and it's a ground cover. It has a 5-petaled flower and it's extremely small. Not only that, if you look at the flower, it actually looks like it has 10 petals, but the split in the petal is just extremely deep. If you look super closely on the stem, you can see that there is one line of hair that runs up one side or the other of the stem, almost like a mohawk. The leaves are teardrop, pointy type leaves, and they alternate each other. Lastly, they have an inner stem inside them. So if you take the stem and you pull on it gently, it'll break and you'll see the inner stem. The whole plant's edible. It's extremely nutritious. It's got vitamin C and all the other wonderful things of wild plants. You can eat it raw or you can eat it cooked. However, it's best to go ahead and wash everything first so you know that no animal peed on it. There is another species of chickweed that's called mouse ear chickweed. Now I don't have any here, but the difference between this chickweed and mouse ear chickweed is the leaves are covered in very fine hairs, and the hairs can be a little bit of an irritant, so it's best that you cook that rather than eating it raw like this. But this can go in salads, into any kind of mixed food. If you like greens, you'll like this. So this next one is called wild onion. This one's really, really easy to spot, and it's among the first things that come up in the spring and even in the colder months. If we break a stem off, we can see that it's actually hollow inside, and if we smash it up a little bit and we smell it, it smells like onion. So all you do, get down to the base of where the plant is, and if it's ground soft, you can just pull it straight up and you'll have these nice roots here. The whole plant's edible, and the whole plant can be used just like any other onion would be. You can chop the bulb up and use it as a seasoning. You can mix the greens up and with your regular veggies to add a little bit of other onion flavoring. It doesn't taste exactly like an onion to me. It actually tastes like a mix between onion and garlic. I actually really enjoy eating this in foods and mixing this into foods in the spring. You have probably seen these in your yard before, most likely. These are called red dead nettles. Now they're called a dead nettle because they resemble, or kind of resemble a nettle, but they don't have any stinging hairs on them. The easiest way to identify it is it's one of the first spring flowers that come up. I actually let it grow up in my yard before I mow it because it's one of the first flowers the bees get to around here. The leaves are triangular in shape. The top of the plant where the flowers are, the leaves have a sort of purplish pink tint to them, and of course the flowers are purple. And if we look closely at the stem, we can see that the stem is actually somewhat square. It actually looks very square. The whole plant is edible. You can eat it raw or you can eat it cooked. Of course, with a lot of things, the more mature it is, this one will probably be a lot better cooked. It's full of all kinds of great vitamins and nutrients, just like the rest of them. High in vitamin C, fiber, iron, you name it. This plant likes to grow in open areas like yards, fields, and other areas where it can get a lot of light. And it grows across much of North America. And this one, I'm quite certain that just about everybody's familiar with, and that's the noble dandelion. I'm sure it grows in almost every single one of y'all's yards. Dandelion's extremely easy to identify, especially when it's flowering. The classic dandelion yellow flower. If you look at the leaves, they're very, very deeply toothed. When the flower, after the flower dies, the seed head is those classic fluff balls, I can't remember what they're actually called, that we all blow and make a wish off of. So this plant is actually particularly useful. When you pick it, there's a little bit of a white sap that comes out of the stem. You can use that like a light glue if you can collect enough of it. The roots can be roasted and used as a coffee substitute. The leaves, the fresh young leaves, can be eaten raw. However, the older and more mature they get, the more bitter they get. The entire plant is edible, and you can make a tea out of the flowers, or you can make a tea out of the whole plant. The whole plant's edible. Hugely rich in vitamin C, hugely rich in all kinds of other vitamins and minerals. I can't remember them all, it's a lot to remember. But overall, these plants most likely grow in or around your backyard. They're really healthy, they're really good to mix in with salads. Just overall great stuff. So with that said, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If you haven't already, hit the bell ding-a-ling icon down below. You'll get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all next time.